hitters are going to need to stand up in the box, try to catch that ball before it breaks. And also, she will use that changeup in any count. It's a pitch that she trusts, so hitters are going to need to stay in their legs to stay balanced and not get caught out on that front side.
And the starting lineup for the Arkansas Razorbacks, Hannah McEwen was fantastic yesterday afternoon. 2 for 3, had 2 runs, a walk. Really low, looking for some production at the bottom of the order. They went 0 for in the 6, 7, 8, and 9 spots yesterday.
It's timely hitting that Arkansas really needs to take hold of today to be productive. The top of the lineup putting themselves on, but like you said, not able to push those runs around once they fell to the bottom of the lineup.
And really neither team yesterday was particularly effective with runners in scoring position. Tennessee was just 3 for 13, but took advantage in that 4th inning and never looked back. Hannah McEwen leads it off for Arkansas, and the first pitch catches her on the hip, and she heads up to first base.
Yesterday, Kaylin Arnold only able to stay in for 2/3 of 1 inning, not able to even get 3 batters out. This is not the way she is wanting to start this game. She is known as a pitcher that has a lot of break on her pitches, but that's not the way you want to start, by giving a free pass away in the top of the first.
Kaylin Arnold has missed some time this season due to an allergic reaction. She has a peanut allergy, also has a soy allergy, and she didn't realize just how strong her soy allergy was. And she actually, on one of their previous road trips, had to go to the hospital due to that allergic reaction.
It was during that during the Texas and BYU trip, actually here at home, and the hospital very close. So instead of worrying about it here, they took her straight to the hospital, and she missed that series.
Talked with Ralph Weekly last night, and he mentioned that allergy to us and sort of how it took Kaylin Arnold out of her rhythm. She had been a usual starter, had missed a number of starts, came in yesterday and only faced 4 batters before they went back to Ashley Rogers. And misses high and inside to Danielle Gibson.
Kaylin Arnold right now just needing to settle in. We have not seen very good outings for her as of late. In her last 5 outings, only able to go the distance of 10 2/3 innings. So needing her to just settle down, give herself an opportunity, stay tight to the zone, but it's hard to do against a hitter like Danielle Gibson.
The 2-1. And Gibson takes a strike on the inside corner. Gibson herself has dealt with some issues, injury related, bent her wrist back awkwardly in the midweek game against Tulsa. And still not cleared to play in the field, and yesterday went 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. So wondering just how much that wrist is affecting her at the plate.
We talked before the game about Danielle Gibson. So the injury is to that left arm. And as a left-handed hitter, your power comes from your backside and from that top hand. We noticed yesterday she was unable to hold up on those balls coming in that were close to the zone, but not really hitter's pitches. And because of that, came away with 4 strikeouts.
Payoff pitch. Gibson goes down looking on an inside strike from Kaylin Arnold.
And this is just too good of a pitch to let go by. Kaylin Arnold has struggled finding the zone early on, but this one just tight on the zone. Danielle Gibson unable to swing. Not seeing typical at-bats out of Danielle Gibson. Now 0 for 5 in this series, all of them strikeouts.
And now Ashley Diaz, who had that 2-run homer in the 4th inning to give Arkansas a brief lead yesterday. Diaz went 1 for 2, drove in 3 runs. Has been a steady bat in this lineup for 4 seasons under head coach Courtney Deifel. And she ropes this down the left field line. A 1-out single for Ashley Diaz.
Diaz does a great job of just keeping her hands inside this pitch and keeping her barrel above the ball on the approach. It's a rise ball that just doesn't seem to get up and above the letters. Keeping her hands above this ball, keeping the barrel above it as well, drives it into left field. Perfect hitting for a big hitter like Diaz, and that puts runners in scoring position for Arkansas.
Setting the table for Katie Warwick. She drove in 1 yesterday in game 1. and takes low.
That drop ball down in the zone is one that's new for Kaylin Arnold. She's developed that in the offseason. It's one that she feels comfortable with, but usually we see her going to that fastball, a two-seam fastball that cuts away like a curve.
Warwick fooled by the off-speed. Great pitch from Kaylin Arnold.
It's a beautiful pitch. That's what you expect out of Kaylin Arnold, a changeup that stays down in the zone. And as a power hitter like Katie Warwick, you're going to want to lay off that pitch until you've got 2 strikes and she forces you to swing at it.
Arkansas just 1 for 5 yesterday with runners in scoring position. And Warwick late on the heat from Arnold, 1-2.
Arnold settling in well in the circle. This is what we needed her to do yesterday in the circle, but unable to do it. Had to be pulled after just a couple of batters, was unable to finish the inning, but doing well, settling down, finding the zone here in the first inning.
Warwick has hit .350 with runners in scoring position this season. And she looks at a ball outside. Certainly yesterday, with as good as Ashley Rogers was at keeping runners out of scoring position, you would think Arkansas really wanting to take advantage of this opportunity early. Two. And another strikeout. The second of the inning and a big one for Kaylin Arnold.
And there's that pitch that runs away from a right-handed batter. Out of the hand, it looks like it's going to be right there in the zone, able to reach and just go with it. But as it runs away, it veers out. Osborne behind the plate, able to come away with it. It was a foul tip, but the catch gives the strikeout.
And now Ali Manzo batting in the 5 spot. First pitch swinging. Backhanded by Morgan, and an easy tap of the bag. Arnold gets out of the jam. Straining 2, Tennessee at the dish when we come back.
Jump from the side, you could hear the spin on it. You could just tell right away she was going to be someone special.
This is some pretty good pitching right now, what we're seeing from Mary Half.
Mary Half with a 1-hit complete game shutout.
Well, after last season, they certainly knew she would be special. One of 3 finalists for National Freshman of the Year, and has come back and had a solid sophomore campaign.
She will not try to overpower hitters with her speed. Instead, she'll focus on her spin. So because of that, hitters need to really try to see the seams out of her hand, make sure that they recognize that rise ball. If it does not start thigh or below, they should not swing, because that rise ball will be thrown to any level, and she will use her spin to be able to deceive hitters. So hitters got to stay in their legs to make sure that they can react once they get a couple strikes.
Tennessee's lineup looks relatively the same compared to yesterday. The one big difference being Tiana Batts at the bottom of the order as the DP. This was a lineup, though, that was so balanced yesterday, partner. All 9 batters got on base safely.
And I think you'll see the same thing today. Aubrey Leach leading them off, leads the team in batting average, and also has a lot of power in that bat. So not your typical slapper. You see her with a lot of speed. She leads the team in stolen bases as well. Because of that, the infield will be playing in to try to take away the short game, but she has power to hit this one out of the park as well.
Batting .465. Does have 14 runs batted in. But as we often talk about, perhaps the most important thing for a leadoff batter is to get on base, and she's done so over 50% of the time this season.
Another quality in a leadoff hitter that you really want to see is just a calm presence, one that's able to take a lot of pitches, not swing out of the zone. And Aubrey Leach sitting at the top of the lineup, this was her goal as a freshman, and now sitting in this year, she's able to just absolutely dominate from that leadoff spot.
The 2-1, a called strike on the outside corner. Mary Half has dealt with some struggles in SEC play. Her season ERA just over 2. Her SEC ERA a little bit over 6. She misses high and in, and now the count runs full.
Half has seen some struggles in the last little bit. That Ole Miss series, when they were down there she was called for some illegal pitches, and because of that, she's hiccuped as of late, unable to rebound from that. So you're looking for a strong start for her against Leach.
Payoff pitch. Rings up. Leach looking on the outside corner. And the first out of the bottom of the first.
Leach tried to sell it, throw that bat and take her way down to first base, but it nips the corner. A beautiful spot by Half, who normally relies on that rise ball, comes in with that drop on the outside corner, able to nip it. Leach holds up thinking she's going to be on her way to first, but gets the first out.
And now in steps Amanda Ayala. 1 for 3 yesterday with a run batted in. The one thing you get a lot of from both pitching staffs, really, but particularly the Razorbacks, they pound the zone. And so you know you won't get a whole lot of free passes in this series.
You definitely won't. Half known to keep her walks down. Only has 11 on the year right now, 102 strikeouts. Doing a great job of keeping it near the zone here to start the game.
Top 10 in the country in strikeout to walk ratio. Already over 100 strikeouts this season for Half. Looking for a bounce back, though, for the Razorbacks today. 0-2 in her last pair of starts as Ayala swings and misses.
I love the way that Courtney Deifel talked about the spin that Half has, how she could just hear it from the side when she was recruiting her, and that's what you need out of a pitcher who does not try to dominate with speed, one that you can hear the spin.
Ayala goes down swinging, and back-to-back strikeouts for Mary Half.
And this is the typical outing that we expect out of Half. Able to hit her corners, that rise ball on the outer corner. It's a tough one for a lefty to catch up to, especially because she wasn't running through. And so as that pitch runs away, the barrel just can't stay back and be able to drive that the other way. A good pitch by Half.
2 down now for Chelsea Segern. We talked about the balance of this batting order yesterday. All 9 batters getting on base safely at least once. The top 3 were spectacular. 5 for 10 with 5 runs batted in. Half dominating so far in the bottom of the first.
One of the unique things about Tennessee's lineup is how many left-handed batters they have, and so Half using that outer corner for the first 2. Segern needs to make sure that she watched those first 2 batters and is looking to go the other way.
0-2. Pops it out, shallow left field, tracking it and making a beautiful catch, Ali Manzo from the shortstop position. A 1-2-3 inning for Mary Half, cruising with 2 strikeouts, scoreless after 1.
My favorite TV show to binge watch is NCIS. Big mystery fan there.
New Girl, Stranger Things probably. Definitely Grey's Anatomy. I love Jane the Virgin.
My favorite TV show to binge would probably have to be Grey's Anatomy.
I'm in the middle of The Office right now. I think Game of Thrones is my favorite. The Orange is the New Black.
I really like SpongeBob and New Girl, so either one of those 2.
SpongeBob, a classic. The Office never gets old.
It doesn't, and that's the one that my kids and I sit and watch. We binge watch that one. I cannot lie. I can't imagine having that show current with the topics that they cover, but that's a fun one.
I typically binge The Office on these flights.
They are available.
Down in Knoxville. Kaylin Arnold did a nice job back in the first inning. Had 2 on and 1 out and got out of the jam. Now takes on the bottom part of the lineup, and Kayla Green leads it off for the Razorbacks.
Kayla Green did not play in yesterday's matchup, coming and stepping in back behind the plate for the game today. She's got a good idea of what strike zone can be called, and so that helps her out as she stands in to hit.
Taylor Green, freshman who got the start behind the plate yesterday, had started the last 4 games before the series behind the dish. Kayla Green has been the primary starter this season for Courtney Deifel. Part of that jumbling, though, having to deal with sort of the uncertainty around the infield. Hard hit ball to third. Phillips gathers and on the first one away.
That's a hard hit ball down the line. I really appreciated how how well Kaylee Phillips was able to just stay consistent over there on the hot corner. There's been a lot of movement defensively on the left side for Tennessee because of the injury to Allie Shipman. She has a broken wrist, torn ACL, and because of that, unable to stay behind the dish. So that pulls their shortstop back there, Osborne, to take care of those duties.
And in steps Linny Malkin, and you want to talk about jumbling defensively. Linny Malkin making just her second start of the season at third base. Her first was yesterday in game 1. And interestingly, both teams sort of mirroring each other in terms of what is having to happen defensively. Coaches dealing with early season injuries.
You're right, and those injuries have shook things up for both teams. It's for them to be able to stand in. Up the middle is so important for your defense, and they've had to make changes up the middle. Arkansas because of injury, but also errors on the left side. Tennessee affected by injury for their catcher, Allie Shipman.
Check swing, went around. Tammy Cooper calling the balls and strikes behind home plate. Pat Lyon up the first base line and Ed Clark over at third base. Beautiful off speed from Kaylin Arnold. We've seen that already a couple of times early in this game.
It's just a nasty pitch. It comes out of her hand the same way as all of her other pitches. So as a hitter, it makes it so hard to recognize. And because she spins it tight, it fools the eye into believing that it's coming in harder than it really is.
Malkin this season batting .227. Making just her 5th start overall. Trying to get something going for the Razorbacks here in the bottom part of the order. 2-2, strikeout, the third of the evening for Kaylin Arnold.
And it's that changeup. It is so deceptive, and it stays down in the zone. It comes in, and you think it's going to sit about knee high, but it just falls off the table, pulls the string, leaves it in the perfect spot. It's a pitcher's pitch. To be able to combat that, you're going to have to move up in the zone, up in the box, and be able to try to attack that before it breaks.
And now Nicole Duncan. With all the change that has gone on around the infield for the Razorbacks, Duncan has been the one consistent factor over at second base. Didn't start the year at second base, but got her opportunity and has not relinquished that spot. 0-1 pop-up behind home. And it's out of play.
Defense really has been the struggle for Arkansas. A lot of errors over on the left side, but Duncan doing a good job standing in, has been very consistent and solid over there at second base. So for her, she's earned her way in because of that solid defensive play, and right now needing to step up and become a little bit more productive at the plate.
0-2 from Arnold. Back-to-back strikeouts to end the second. And Kaylin Arnold has set down the last 5 for the Volunteers. Tennessee will swing the sticks when we come back from Knoxville. Another packed house for Game 2 in Knoxville. Still no score after 1.5 from Tennessee. Plenty of other action around the league. Alabama, how about that? Still undefeated at 33-0. Missouri upsetting Kentucky. They've won 2 games already in that series. And this is the toughest league in the country by far. 9 teams in the top 25.
How long will Alabama hold on to that undefeated record? Right now, the only team in Division I that has not got a loss, but those wins of Missouri over Kentucky, those were not expected, in Missouri really turning it on here in SEC play.
Kentucky went into that series 6-0, atop the conference. The Tigers in Kentucky, its first 2 conference losses of the season. Mary Half back in the circle for Arkansas, taking on the meat of the lineup. Kaylee Phillips leads things off for Tennessee. Talk about Alabama 33-0 under head coach Patrick Murphy. Only undefeated team left in the country. Longest win streak by far in program history, but the question is how much further can they go? Best single season record ever was UCLA back in the 90s. They went 54-2.
And that's over the whole season. So I think you learn so much from losses. So going this far undefeated, yes, you learn lessons in a win, but it's when they hurt, those losses teach you so much. So what lesson are they not learning because they have been so successful? They captured that record over in Hawaii, and now they've come back. They've started back up into SEC play, playing Texas A&M down at Texas A&M this weekend. Nicole Schroeder had a great game, going 2 for 4 with a home run. Bailey Hemphill, grand slam. I mean, the power that they have in their lineup is dominating.
Run rule the Aggies last night in 6 innings. Then it's funny, Ralph Weekly, when we had a chance to talk with him yesterday, he said, in this conference, every weekend feels like a super regional.
And that's not a new saying. I mean, this conference has absolutely become dominant. In the last 10 years, it is so hard to come away with a regular season championship. We've seen Florida do it 4 times. And right now, they're sitting now down at the bottom of the pack. They were handed 2 losses by Tennessee just last weekend. And so right now, it's all over the map. Alabama, though, at the top without any losses in the nation, but also in SEC play.
2-2 from Half. Fought off foul again. A nice at bat here from Kaylee Phillips to lead things off for Tennessee in the 2nd inning. 7th pitch of the at bat coming. Half set down the first 3. 1-2-3. With strikeouts of Leach and Ayala. And she just misses outside, running the count full.
But I like that pitch, knowing that Phillips is a power hitter. She leads the team in not only RBI and home run. She knows that she's a big swinger, so that pitch just off the plate over in the river, a great pitch in that 2-2 count.
Payoff pitch rings up Phillips on the outside. 3 strikeouts for Half.
That changeup has become a great equalizer for Half out of the circle. That one's a little higher in the zone, but she's frozen. There's nothing she can do. As Half pulls the string, she's becoming very dominant in the circle because she's able to disrupt the timing of these big hitters for Tennessee.
Karen Weekly peering on from the dugout as Haley Bearden digs in for Tennessee. Karen Weekly and her husband Ralph in their 18th seasons as co-head coaches here in Knoxville have built a national power. 15 consecutive regional appearances and back-to-back super regionals for the Vols. And again, it's never a situation of a rebuild here. They just continue to reload, bringing in the 2nd-ranked recruiting class again this season.
Well, and another strikeout. You wonder if these Vol hitters were not paying attention to their scouting, because the Weeklies put together a great report before every game. But Half is staying away from these hitters. She's staying on the outer half. You've got to communicate that back to the dugout so that hitters following you understand that you're going to need to look away, go the other way, and be ready for that changeup. Half doing a great job in the circle. Tennessee needing to communicate back to the dugout what they're seeing in each at bat.
First pitch to Morgan, a strike. Half doing a nice job so far tonight of getting ahead early in counts, something that she struggled with in that Mississippi series, and then it sort of carried on, and Courtney Deifel said those illegal pitches and the way that it sort of shook her up stayed with her longer than the coaching staff might have expected, but today looking really comfortable.
Very confident in the circle today. Starting the game off with that strikeout to Leach really set the tone for how she's performing today in the circle.
1-1 Ashley Morgan.
mixing her speed so well in the circle. It's just so hard as a hitter to be able to settle into your legs when those pitches continue to change speeds and you're not able to time them up.
Morgan just holding off. Morgan batting .338 this year. The sophomore over at first base. Has struggled lately, though. 1 for 13 in her last 5 games. Hanging tough against Mary Half here with 2 down.
We saw in her freshman season that she was just putting a lot of pressure on herself. One of the things that the weeklies were proud of, the way she came back as a sophomore, able to come in and really just give herself a little bit more confidence, trust herself, and just rely on the athleticism that she's able to bring to the box.
Good eye, missing low. Full count. Morgan, part of the 2018 SEC All-Freshman team, has started all but a handful of games through her first 2 seasons.
Another changeup for Half. That great disruptor continues to be used out of the circle, but Morgan stays in her legs, is able to get the barrel on it and just foul it off. As a hitter that's known to be able to put the ball in the play consistently, you've got to be able to stay in your legs and not come out to that front side. That's what yields the swing and miss.
Payoff, strike 3, back-to-back Ks to end the inning. The 5th of the night for Mary Half.
3 strikeouts to set down the balls. She used the changeup and then stayed away from these big hitters. Half is dealing in the circle.
The most random thing I ever bought online was socks.
A KitchenAid mixer.
It's a hacky sack.
5 swimsuits that were free.
A toothbrush. Dog boots for my dog.
I would probably say taco sauce.
Probably a quesadilla maker.
A garlic mincer.
A cable muncher.
The most random thing I ever bought online was a t-shirt with my face on it.
Fun personalities in that dugout for Arkansas. The hacky sack, a solid purchase for the softball squad.
But I love the t-shirt with my face on it. That's one I'm hoping that she gave away as a present, that she doesn't wear that one around campus.
She's got it under her uniform tonight. Here's the lefty, Sydney Parr, batting in the 9 spot. They really like her ability to sort of flip the lineup over, although she typically bats in the 6 or 7 spot. So Courtney Deifel trying something new tonight for Arkansas. And she slaps this into left field. In foul territory, handled by Amanda Ayala. Saturday at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, we'll have the second game of a big 3-game series between South Carolina and number 6 LSU at Tiger Park in Baton Rouge. SEC softball is also available on the ESPN app so that you can watch anywhere.
That's going to be a great matchup. LSU so potent offensively right now. South Carolina, though, trying to come back and keep themselves in this SEC hunt. They lost to Ole Miss today, but they've got some arms in the circle. Kelsey O, a complete game, had 9 strikeouts in that one today. So that'll be a good one next weekend.
Hannah McEwen at the dish with 1 down. Yeah, LSU taking down Florida, a team that has 9 batters hitting 300 or better. I mean, many people around the country thinking this might be the best offense in program history down in Baton Rouge.
And it could be. It's a hard park to hit the ball out of, but at the same time, they are finding ways to do it, and they've got a lot of speed at the top with Aaliyah Andrews able to come around. We saw that big Superman slide for the win just the other day.
She has speed that you really can't find anywhere else in the country.
Well, you're the track star, right?
I
You
wouldn't
ran
go
in
that far.
college, but at the same time, that speed, it takes anticipation as well, and that's what she's got, a high softball IQ. and knows when to run through a stop sign. That Mic'd Up Monday was that was my favorite. I cannot wait for the next Mic'd Up Monday to be able to see what happens.
Pitch high out of the zone. Count even at 2-2. McEwen batting .465. Riding a 13-game hit streak. Had a pair of hits in yesterday's contest. So came around to score a couple of times. There's your Mic'd Up Monday schedule coming up. Karen Weekly, April 8th, Tennessee head coach.
I wonder if they'll put Ralph on headset that night. That would be a fun one. I would love to hear what he says when he goes out to the circle to talk to the pitchers.
3-2, just off the mitt. Over at second, charging in Leach, and no play at first.
Defensively in the circle, that was a great try by Arnold to try to come away with it, but the ground in front of home plate just a little too hard. Gives the ball a high enough hop to get over Arnold. That'll be a hit for McEwen at the top of the lineup.
And she extends her hit streak now to 14 games. Been so solid at the top of the lineup for Courtney Deifel. But now Danielle Gibson. And Gibson, at least to this point in the series, just has not looked herself. 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts.
I really think it has to do with that wrist injury that she sustained on a ball that when she was playing first base. The catch drew her into the runner. It bent that wrist, and she's just not able to do much with that top hand, which is where all of your power comes from as a hitter.
Rolled over to first and hops foul. Scooped up by Ashley Morgan.
Typically the top of the lineup, McEwen over there at first base, you see more speed at the top of your lineup. Tennessee has not thrown out a base stealer this season. They are 0 for 13 in base stealers. And so Allie Shipman not behind the plate. Gracie Osborne has the duties now, trying to come away with an opportunity to steal bases. But Arkansas not known for that, just 11 on the season.
And McEwen hasn't attempted any this year.
And that has a lot to do with Matt Michael in the dugout. There's a look at Allie Shipman, who had been the catcher for Tennessee through the first half of the season, but on a weak ground ball to first base in a previous game, she was taken out by the first baseman. And because of that collision going down the line, she sustained a broken wrist and a torn ACL. And so right now, Shipman out for the year, a big loss for Tennessee. And right there next to her is Abby Lockman, who was the catcher last season, who is a medical redshirt right now because of a torn labrum that she had surgery on in the fall. So Gracie Osborne now sitting behind the dish. Chelsea Segern at short.
There's a ball to second base. Leach flipping to Segern, and throw is off the mark at first. They get the lead runner at second, but Gibson reaching with 2 outs.
It's a routine ground ball, trying to come away with that throw. A swipe tag over at second, but the throw's so errant, there's not much that Morgan can do with it except try to get it, the rebound off the net. Danielle Gibson just not able to put the power into the swing that we're used to seeing out of her, and Tennessee doing a good job of dishing the strikes on the corners away from that top hand.
Gibson on for the first time in the series, and that extends the inning now for Ashley Diaz.
Diaz with a great single to lead this game in her first at-bat. Had a home run yesterday that put them up 2-1, looking for that same kind of result in this at-bat.
Puts a good swing on this, snared at short, and they get the flip. Chelsea Segern, what a play.
Segern in just her second start at shortstop, 142 appearances behind the dish or at third base consecutively before this weekend. Comes away with a big one, making herself look like a pro, like she's been there all year long.
You know, well, rise balls are just really hard to hit in general, but she has the ability to put the rise ball from the batter's knee all the way up to their eyes at any point. She can attack the zone with any of her pitches, and she can throw a rise, a curve, a change in any count to any batter. And I think that's something when you have to defend all three in the strike zone, it's really hard to do for a batter.
What's it like to call?
5 strikeouts already, partner. She set down the first 6 volunteers to come to the plate this evening.
And she's not using the rise ball for the strikeout. I think that's the thing that's more surprising for Half, knowing that she likes that. She's had a first pitch strike to 5 of those 6 batters. So she's really trying to get ahead in the count and then keep the ball in the river and up and away from these batters. She's doing a great job of using the changeup as well to disrupt the timing of Tennessee. And right now, Tennessee cannot figure her out.
Volunteers have put a couple of tough at-bats against Mary Half, but have not been able to get on base. And now the bottom of the order, Kaylin Hannon leads things off in the 7th spot. Corner infield playing in for the junior Hannon.
That's a tough one behind the dish for Kaylin Green. She wore that one right in the middle of her helmet. That's a tough one. The umpire will help her out a little bit, but Kaylin Hannon steps into the box, not a scholarship athlete prior to this season, able to come in and earn a scholarship in this, her junior year. And back behind the dish, Green giving her coaches a little bit of a giggle, knowing that that one just got right past the glove. Luckily, she's doing well with those tools of ignorance that those catchers wear.
0-2 fouled off the tip. Courtney Deifel, I'm sure, took a couple of those off the helmet once or twice in her career.
Well, and that's what the giggle's for, right?
Yeah.
She knows what just happened. But years past, I mean, it's been a while ago, but catchers didn't used to wear shin guards. They didn't used to wear those tools that gave them opportunities to be a little bit more aggressive.
6th strikeout for Mary Half. 4th straight for the sophomore.
And we're seeing that Half is just keeping the ball off the plate, and Tennessee continues to swing. It's a matter of recognition, finding that pitch and recognizing early enough that that pitch continues to ride out of the zone. It's a tough one, and there's a lot of lefty batters that Half is using that pitch on.
And now Gracie Osborne.
Back behind the plate, they're getting abused. Now they're taking him off the umpire.
Nobody's safe. Mary Half is dealing. And you talked about it earlier, mixing her speeds well.
That's the key to getting out hitters, is making sure that they can't dig in against you. Right now, mixing her speeds pretty well. Not with a lot of speed differences. I mean, you're only talking 3 and 4 miles an hour between a lot of these pitches. But when she speeds that up, it's hard to catch up. And so you see a lot of those foul balls and swings and misses because of it.
Osborne 1 for 11 in her last 4 games. Freshman from Paris, Tennessee, part of that #2 recruiting class that was brought to campus, and she came here not expecting to play behind the plate. But due to the injury to Allie Shipman and the redshirt season for Abby Lockman, has been called to duty. And thankfully, as Karen Weekly told us, many of the freshmen in this class have played catcher at one point or another, whether it have been in their travel ball or high school teams. But Osborne came in expecting to be a shortstop, but has handled the duties well behind home.
And I only knew her as a catcher. In the travel ball scene, we faced her team many times, and I knew her behind the dish. She's one of those players that just has a motor that doesn't stop. Karen Weekly says she's one of those players we have to say, whoa, not go to, and she loves that quality about her.
2-2, just got a piece. Staying alive with 1 down. No volunteer has gotten on base yet today against Mary Half.
When you talk about the injuries to Tennessee, you can't go without talking about Gracie Osborne, though, either. She broke her leg in the summer in Colorado in a travel ball tournament, was unable to participate in the fall while that leg continued to heal. So just joining the squad in January, full go. So January was a big month for Tennessee as they tried to settle in defensively and find the spots for everybody. Once they finally found that, though, Allie Shipman goes down and things changed again.
And Karen talking about how pleasantly surprised and proud she is of Gracie Osborne for handling the pitching staff despite not working with them in the fall. And she gets on base, the first hit of the contest for the Volunteers.
And she doesn't try to get too tricky. It's a changeup again, out of the hand of Half. And when that pitch, you've got to stay in your legs. Gracie Osborne does a good job of staying back, just getting the barrel out to contact and hitting it into the 5-6 hole. I mean, Gracie Osborne, a great at bat and able to get the first hit for Tennessee.
And now Tiana Batts making just her third start this season. Has been effective when she's been in the lineup, though, batting above 400 on the year.
Because she's a slapper, your infield will be pulled in, trying to take away the short game and forcing her to punch something through. Batts has to recognize where those corners are, though. Make sure that she takes into account where that is. That split grip gives it away. Now we're looking for short game.
Malkin charging in, was almost in the batter's box by the time Batts caught a piece of that pitch from Half. And now in the hole 0-2. And gets the 0-2 strikeout, her 7th of the night.
As a second baseman, I would always look at the hands of a hitter, a slapper, to make sure I was playing them correctly. Because Bat's hands were together on the bat as she started, you knew that she would run through and try to get this one. Half recognizes that, runs that one off the plate, and gets another K.
Back to the top of the order. Here's Aubrey Leach. Half to this point, one full time through the lineup, has gone to 2 strikes on every Volunteer batter.
That's the pitch that got Leach in her first at bat. That pitch that just nips the corner, rides itself into the river, but because the umpire is giving it, the Volunteers need to make an adjustment in their swings, make sure that they're reaching that outside pitch. I love that pitch call right there, knowing that the short game would be probably in play. That pitch up and in is a tough one for a lefty to take and get on top of to be able to lay it down. That's a great spot for Mary Half.
And punch foul. 2-2. Leach went down looking on strikes back in the first. One of 7 strikeouts already tonight for Mary Half. Went 3 for 4 last night, though, with a couple of RBI. Snap throw down to first. Kayla Green has been active behind home with Osborne at first. Finally pulls the trigger.
And just keeps a base runner honest. When a catcher is willing to throw down and throw behind a runner, it makes them think twice about the leads that they're getting. So a good snap throw by Green keeps Osborne honest.
3-2. Off the mid at third and into left field. And a 2-out base knock for Aubrey Leach.
And that's the adjustment that Leach has been needing to make. That pitch on the outside was leaving Tennessee vulnerable. So as she steps across as a slapper, drives that ball the other way, reaches across. The one thing that they need to be aware of is making sure that they do not step out of the box when they make contact. That is a rule that will come into play. It is called by the home plate umpire, and so they've got to make sure that they stay honest in the box.
Here is Amanda Ayala. And with Leach being a slapper the way that the defense was set up, Malkin was playing in, and that ball came to her quickly off the bat of Leach. So runner in scoring position for the first time tonight for Tennessee. They were 3 for 13 with runners in scoring position yesterday afternoon. Ayala has been spectacular with runners at second or third this season, batting .448.
The top of the lineup for Tennessee so potent, though. In yesterday's matchup, the top 3 hitters, Leach, Ayala, and Segern, went 5 for 10, producing 5 RBI. So it's these top 3 slots that have really been the big run producers for Tennessee this weekend. So the conversation right now between Karen, Ralph, and Marty McDaniel is that they are coming out and just saying, hey, look, the outside is going to be the pitch that she's going to try to get you on. I don't need you to be crafty with it. Just do your job as a slapper. Punch this ball through the infield and get us another run.
Gracie Osborne stands at second base. The freshman has some speed, and so a ball into the outfield. We could see a play at the plate. 2-2 on Ayala.
Defense plays this one straight up. The corners will play even with the bag, leaving that short game vulnerable. But with 2 strikes, there's no slapper that I know of that's going to try to bring the ball in, try to bunt it, because if it goes foul, they're out. At Tennessee, the slappers have a great resource over there on first base. India Childs, their assistant, or their volunteer assistant, SEC Player of the Year, and was a slapper.
2-2 and another foul out of play. Ayala went down swinging back in the first.
There's India Childs, one of her slappers there, and Aubrey Leach. India Childs, just such a great resource for these slappers. It's a tool of our game that is not as utilized as well as it used to be. And right now, India Child's a great resource for these slappers here in Knoxville.
2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and the 8th strikeout of the night for Mary Half. Getting out of the jam, Tennessee strands 2, still scoreless after 3 in Knoxville. Welcome back to Knoxville. Still no score after 3. Big reason why, the pitching from Arkansas. We're joined by Courtney Deifel, Razorback head coach. And Coach, you got to love what you're seeing from Mary Half so far. 8 strikeouts. What is she doing well in the circle?
Yeah, I love what I'm seeing from Mary right now. She's just spinning it really well, controlling her counts, and she's doing a great job.
So right now, just 2 hits on the board. What adjustments are you needing your hitters to make to be able to be successful against Arnold?
Just get in there and ready to swing at the pitches we're looking for. I think we're a little passive early. I think we're chasing late. So just kind of reverse that, get ready to hit when we get in there, and look to get good contact.
Coach, thanks for your time and good luck.
Thanks.
Caitlin Arnold herself has 4 strikeouts. She's back in the circle to start the 4th for the Volunteers. And we'll take on the meat of the lineup. Katie Warwick leads things off for Arkansas.
This has been a great outing for Kaylin Arnold. She had struggled in the last 10 2/3 innings in her last 5 appearances, but now in the circle dealing well against Arkansas. We saw her come in yesterday in relief, but only able to go 2/3 of an inning. Needing to get pulled because she was getting hit hard as well. And so this is a great outing for her to be able to gain some of that confidence back that she's known for.
7 walks over those last 10 2/3 coming into the day. Hit Hannah McEwen, the leadoff batter of the game for Arkansas, but since then has been pretty efficient and certainly accurate in the circle.
And there's the smile that you like to see out of Arnold, knowing that she just missed her pitch, but that's a great spot to miss a changeup. You never want to float a changeup in and leave it high. It leaves you vulnerable for a hit. So that's a great spot to miss on a changeup, and a good hold by Warwick.
Warwick launches this high and deep to left field. Back at the wall, goodbye. Her 5th home run of the season, and the Razorbacks are on the board first.
And we'd seen Kaylin Arnold able to hit the corners. This one left fat and over the heart of the plate. Warwick knows it off the swing of the bat. She settles into this one and just gives it a ride, is able to watch this one all the way off the video board. The outfield tries to chase. Bats recognizing this one all the way up the top of the video board, and that's a huge video board, one of the biggest in the SEC. Warwick able to put Arkansas up on top. We talked yesterday about when Tennessee scored first. They were 21-0. But today, Arkansas out in front.
It's been the long ball for Arkansas in this series. They had a home run yesterday off that same video board in left center, off the bat of Ashley Diaz. And now Arkansas has homered in 5 straight games. Warwick extended her hit streak to 5 games. And now here is Ali Manzo.
And that conversation between Segern and Kaylin Arnold. Segern typically known to play third base, and so that was the conversation between the two of them. But now at short, still staying in there and being a voice to keep Kaylin Arnold positive.
2-0 pitch, misses low. Manzo taking all the way after the home run from Warwick. And a walk drawn on 4 pitches. First walk of the season for Ali Manzo. Tomorrow at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, we'll have the big series finale between number 11 LSU and number 8 Georgia at Foley Field in Athens. SEC Baseball is also available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Fun little series on the other diamond in the SEC. Mound visit from Karen Weekly. What do you think the message is here to Kaylin Arnold?
Just rebound. That home run led off the inning, and I think it shook up Kaylin Arnold a little bit, giving up a 4-pitch walk to a hitter that had never had a walk before. So for Kaylin Arnold, it's just about settling in and getting back to the form that she was in earlier. She's now going through the lineup for the second time. We saw yesterday that when Ashley Rogers had gotten through the lineup twice, that they made a change in the pitching circle. So looking right now for Kaylin Arnold to settle in and finish out this next time through the lineup and not give up any more runs.
1 on, nobody out now for Kayla Green. First pitch swinging, knocks it foul.
We saw a couple of changeups in the last at bat that were just unable to find their spot. She did keep them low, but she was bouncing them into the catcher Osborne. And so for Kaylin Arnold, that changeup is really the one that she's able to go to in any count, but has lost a little confidence in that pitch here in this inning.
Did not see Green in game 1. Grounded out to third her first time up in the second. One, 2 from Arnold.
Kaylin Arnold coming in, giving 2 strikes right to Green in this at bat after that visit to the circle by Karen Weekly. But now Green showing composure and not chasing out of the zone.
And catches a piece of Kayla Green. Second hit batter of the contest by Kaylin Arnold, and now 2 on and nobody out for the Razorbacks.
And as a hitter, that one's in the box. You do not have to make a move to get out of the way with a ball coming in. However, that one, she leaned into that one a little bit. I would anticipate seeing a change in the circle if Kaylin Arnold is unable to find that zone quickly. So while she did lean into that one, the ball was clearly in the box. That one way away from the plate. And so Kaylin Arnold probably anticipating being lifted in this moment as everybody stands in the circle waiting for the change that Ralph Weekly will be giving.
Kaylin Arnold comes out. We'll tell you about the pitching change in Knoxville when we come back. Maddie Moss relieves Kaylin Arnold. We saw her last night, got her 3rd save of the season, struck out back-to-back batters to end the game.
Maddie Moss comes in throwing a little bit differently. She has developed the ability this season to change speeds on multiple pitchers. So because of that, a hitter's going to have to stay a little bit more relaxed in the zone, read that pitch out of the hand of Moss. She loves the curveball away from a righty into a lefty. So righties are going to need to look to go the other way with it. Lefties, however, are going to need to attack her and get their barrel out in front, drive that ball to the right side. But because of that mix of speed, Maddie Moss can be very tough to handle coming out of the circle.
Has pitched scoreless relief efforts in 8 of her last 11 appearances out of the dugout. We'll take on Lenny Malkin with 2 on and nobody out. Kaylin Arnold started off the game pretty well, had 4 strikeouts, but then gave up that home run to start the 4th and bounced out, at least for now, here in the top of the 4th inning. Pinch runner at second base for Courtney Deifel. Sam Torres replaces Ali Manzo. Saw Sam Torres come in yesterday to pinch run as well. The runs have come at a premium to this point in the contest, especially for Arkansas, with Mary Half on the mound. And the way she's pitching, a couple of runs may be enough for this Razorbacks team. 0-2 for Moss. Swearing and a miss, strike 3.
It's been the bottom of the lineup that has really been struggling. Arkansas unable to come away with hits at the bottom of the lineup. That pitch out of the zone. Malkin does not need to offer at this pitch, recognizing that that one is out of the zone. It's a tough one, but down at the bottom of the lineup in that 6, 7, 8, 9 slot, there have been no hits for Arkansas in this series.
Here is Nicole Duncan with 2 on. We talked a little bit about it in the open. Neither team very successful in game one with runners in scoring position. Arkansas was 1 for 5, Tennessee 3 for 13. Arkansas now 1 for 8 in this series and 0 for 3 today with runners at second or third. And quickly 0-2 on Duncan. Moss going for back-to-back strikeouts. Fouled off the screen by Duncan.
Moss coming in, throwing a little bit harder than Arnold. That's hard as a hitter to adjust to, recognizing that that pitch is coming out of the hand of Moss a little bit faster. You've got to be able to get that front foot down so you can get the barrel through the zone. No forward movement can happen until that front foot or stride foot makes contact with the ground out in front.
0-2. Strike 3 and back-to-back Ks for Maddie Moss.
So we talk about how the speed is hard to adjust to. Well, so's the change of speed. Takes a little something off of this. An off-speed drop, a new pitch for Maddie Moss this year. Because that off-speed drop looks so similar to the regular drop, she gets another strikeout because Nicole Duncan way out in front.
And now the slapper Sydney Parr digs in the 9 spot. Lined out to left her first time up. Can she come through with 2 on for Arkansas? Talked about it a little bit yesterday, but Sydney Parr, see it there, batting .314 this year, has really emerged as a consistent bat at the bottom part of the lineup after not tallying a single at-bat in her freshman campaign a year ago. And now 1-2.
Parr has been solid defensively. That's what's given her the start in the outfield, playing left again today. One of the hardest workers on this Arkansas staff. She's had a huge bat in big situations for Arkansas, but now sitting at the bottom of the lineup trying to get that big hit to get Arkansas another run.
2 on, 2 out, 1-2 pitch. Sharply fouled over to the third base side. Parr is a tough strikeout. He's only gone down swinging 8 times this season. Bouncing ball to second, handled by Leach and on to first, and Moss comes through, stranding 2 to retire the side. We'll chat with Tennessee head coach Karen Weekly when we come back. Arkansas on the board first with this bomb.
A big hit puts Arkansas on the board. How will Tennessee respond?
Back to Knoxville, Tennessee. Arkansas on top of the 5th-ranked Volunteers 1-0 before the bottom of the 4th. We are joined by head coach Karen Weekly. And coach, what a job by Maddie Moss coming in and sort of stemming the tide, retiring the side and straining 2 runners for Arkansas.
Yeah, that was a big situation there, and that's 3 big outs, just like last night. You know, she got 2 huge outs right in the meat of their order for us to save the game last night, but that's what you expect a senior to do. She's a gamer.
Now, Mary Half in the circle has really stymied your hitters. What adjustments are you needing them to make to get some runs up on the board?
Yeah, I think we're just getting caught being too far out in front. She's changing speeds really well, not just with the changeup, but, you know, her rise ball looks to be just a little bit slower than the stuff she throws down in the zone, and I think that's what's really got us more than anything is most of our swings are ahead of the ball. So we just got to do a better job of breathing up there and letting the ball travel.
Coach, thank you, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
8 strikeouts for that young woman right there, Mary Half. having a fantastic bounce back performance. Talked about it a little bit earlier, but really struggled in that Ole Miss series, the opening series of SEC play. Had those 2 illegal pitches, and that really threw her off her game. As she deals to Chelsea Segern to lead things off in the 4th inning. An above 7 ERA in her last 2 starts. But has kept the Volunteers scoreless thus far.
A lot of talk coming from the dugout into the hitters. You can see the conversation between Segern and someone in the dugout, and most typically that's coming from the weeklies, that communication about what they need to do to be successful in these at-bats. But as the count sits even, Segern just needs to settle in.
1-1 catches the outside corner. And again, as we've seen time and time again tonight, Mary Half ahead in the count.
But that's a pitch that I wouldn't swing at as a hitter. That one rolled into the other box. I mean, that's one that, as a coach, I'd be okay with my player taking.
You just tip your cap to Mary Half.
You're not going to be successful. Even if you try to go for that pitch, you're going to either foul it off or give yourself a weak ground ball to the left side. So it was a good hold, but Half gets the benefit of the strike call.
2-2. Upstairs, and the count runs full on Chelsea Segern. Even with all the strikeouts, 8 for Half, Tennessee has done a nice job of making Half work. This is the 6th full count of the night.
And that's the expected pitch for the strikeout. Going away, trying to run this one off the plate. Segern does a good job of keeping that front shoulder in, driving her barrel all the way through that one, letting the ball travel, get deep into her swing. As a hitter, as a lefty, they've been running this ball away from them. They've got to think about going the other way.
Payoff pitch fouled back. 7 pitches in this at bat against Chelsea Segern, who popped out to short her first time up a few innings ago. Half has tallied 3 strikeouts on the 5 previous full counts against the Volunteers. So she's found a way to buckle down tonight. Coming off a sensational freshman campaign where she is one of 3 finalists for a couple of Freshman of the Year honors. 3-2, hit high but shallow to left field. Parr is under, 1 away.
And that was a better at bat for Segern. She stayed in there recognizing the outside pitch. She did get a tough call on an outside pitch that I don't believe was a strike, but stayed composed, was able to battle through, driving the count all the way to full after that. But as you try to attack an outside pitch, you've got to make sure that you keep your barrel above your hands as you approach that, let it travel a little bit deeper into the zone and drive it the other way.
But now the freshman Kaylee Phillips, first pitch swinging, popped foul and out of play. Another in-state prospect from Atua, Tennessee, was club teammates with Ashley Rogers. And the one thing Karen Weekly said that stands out to her about Phillips, no one competes with more passion or intensity than Kaylee Phillips. Pop up, will it stay in play? Foul territory, and it just catches the netting. You gotta love that from a freshman.
A lot of freshmen in this lineup given opportunities. They were the number 2 recruiting class in the nation. Because of that, they knew they would be able to step in and make things happen quickly. But still, the stress of SEC play is so hard to adjust to. But she is out of the box on that front foot.
And lines this into left field for a base knock. Just the 3rd hit of the night for Tennessee. And the first time aboard tonight for Phillips.
and just does a great job of staying in her legs, driving this ball. It's an outside pitch, so typically you'd like to see your power hitter go the other way. She's out of the box again, so while that call is typically made on a slapper, it is also vulnerable on those righties as they move up in the box to try to attack a pitcher whose break is happening late. So she gains the advantage of the home plate umpire not seeing it.
Here's the lefty, Haley Bearden. Second time through the lineup has been a bit of a different story for this Volunteers batting order. They started 0 for 7 with 6 strikeouts against Taft, and since they've gone 3 for 6 with a handful of singles. Oh-2. Up the middle and under the mid of Monzo and into center. Back-to-back base hits, and Tennessee stringing together a rally here in the fourth.
So defense wins ball games. This one, Bearden able to muscle it up, just drive it right back up the middle. It looks as though Monzo could have had that ball had she just gotten her glove down a little bit sooner. But because it trickles into the outfield, it puts Tennessee with 2 runners on base. That's a tough play, and we've seen a lot of miscues on the left side for Arkansas. That's a play that's going to need to be made down the stretch.
Here is Ashley Morgan. And if you remember, it was the 4th inning in yesterday's game where Arkansas had that costly error, and then Tennessee scored 4 in the inning. Two on, 1 out for Morgan.
It's the 4th inning that most of these hitters are coming through for the 3rd time, sometimes just the 2nd, but sometimes as you come up again with that little bit of recall from your first at bat, you're able to make adjustments, and that's what we're seeing out of both these teams in the 4th inning.
0-2 fouled back. To your point, middle of the order here, 4, 5, and 6. First time through, a strikeout for all 3. And now 2 of the 3 have singled their 2nd time up against Mary Half.
This is Ashley Morgan's 2nd time up, and she's hoping to keep that trend going for Tennessee and also for herself. She was a strikeout victim on an away pitch, so now keeping her eyes on that outside pitch, she needs to look to drive it the other way.
Oh-2. High and tight, a ball for Ashley Morgan. We talked so much early about timely hitting. Tennessee yesterday 3 for 13 with runners in scoring position. Morgan this year batting .469 with a runner in scoring position as she fouls this back. 1 for 10, the Razorbacks with runners in scoring position in the series, and Tennessee 3 for 14. This is just the 2nd time today that they've had a runner at second base. First few innings, absolutely dominant for Mary Half. That ball got away momentarily.
So while the throw did beat her, recognize that the umpire had his arm out, calling obstruction on the 3rd baseman, Malkin, who is new to that spot in this series. So covering up the bag did not allow an opportunity for the base runner to get in there and have a chance to get to the bag. Because of that block, she is safe at 3rd, even though the throw did beat her to the bag.
Malkin making just her 2nd start this season at 3rd base. Here's a pop-up down the line and foul.
And that's what I think is so important about having a solid defense over there at 3rd base. Malkin knew, so not being able to cover up that bag correctly, that gives Tennessee such a huge advantage in this situation right now with only 1 out. They've got a couple of hitters now that can come to the plate to try to push some runs around and respond.
Morgan check swing, could not hold up, and the 9th strikeout of the night for Mary Half, a big one with 2 runners in scoring position.
You're looking for hitters to be really aggressive early in a count, but because she fell behind, that pitch that she runs away, Half has done that all day long, and Tennessee unable to hold up on that one. That one's in the opposite batter's box. Morgan knew it was too far, but could not hold up.
Here's Kaylin Hannon. Third-year player. A starter for the first time in her career this season. Weekly's so proud of the way that she has worked in the off seasons. Karen Weekly joked with us. She said a lot of times with younger players, they'll go home for the summer and they'll just kind of kick the feet up on the couch and enjoy the AC, but not Kaylin Hannon. Hundreds of reps in the cage throughout the summer. Down in the count now, 1-2.
A lot of these players that come in from Tennessee have such pride, wanting to wear the orange with so much. They're so excited to wear it, and because of that, Kaylin Hannon went home every summer trying to get better to earn herself a spot, and now she has.
1-2 misses high. Tying run at third base. Kaylin Hannon trying to come through for the Volunteers. Two-two pitch. Strike three, the 10th strikeout for Mary Half. Back-to-back Ks to end the inning. Tennessee strands 2. 1-0 lead for Arkansas.
We welcome you to Clearwater. The amount of great matchups and great teams here. Good piece of hitting here. It is gone!
Spectacular matchups all weekend here.
To the track! And it is caught! What a catch! Are you serious? A magical couple of days. What an incredible event.
The first St. Pete Clearwater Elite Invitational presented by Wilson was a success down there in Florida, escaping the cold weather in February.
Oh, that's always good, but more than anything, it was the quality of play that we saw in February. It was an amazing event, but it was brought to you courtesy of some of the best teams in the nation willing to face each other early on.
Arkansas with a 1-0 lead on the 5th-ranked Tennessee Volunteers. Back to the top of the order, Hannah McEwen. Talking about challenging yourself down at Clearwater early in the season. Certainly Tennessee has challenged itself throughout the year. 7-4 against teams either ranked in the top 25 or receiving votes, so right out of that top 25 poll.
It correlates right to your RPI, while the SEC teams that face each other week in and week out have the benefit of being able to keep a high RPI. It's those early season games that really help those conferences that do not have high RPI. It benefits them to go and play high-ranked RPI teams so that they can push their RPI up. You want to have a 1 through 8 seeding to give yourself an opportunity for postseason hosting. Giving yourself a higher RPI helps you out when you're looking for the nod to be able to play postseason games.
2-1 for Moss, fouled back. Speaking of RPI, I don't think anybody in the SEC really has a problem there. Look at all those teams in the top 35. 3 in the top 10, including that Florida team that we talked about, Kentucky. And here's the interesting thing. Kentucky, 7th in the RPI, has lost back-to-back games to Missouri, who's not even in the top 35.
So you can anticipate that Kentucky will lose some of their standing. Their rank will fall because of those games against Missouri.
Line drive handled well by Ayala. 1 down here in the 5th. Moss, who came in back in the 4th to relieve Kaylin Arnold, has now set down 4 straight. So steady out of the bullpen this season.
McEwen at the top of the lineup swings a great bat, is able to square that one up, but it goes right to Ayala. And now Danielle Gibson, who is hitless in this series. All of her at-bats have ended in a strikeout. Maddie Moss trying to do it again.
First pitch swinging, taps it foul. 4 strikeouts in the series for Gibson coming in. Was struck out for a 5th time in the first inning by Kaylin Arnold. Finally put a ball in play in the 3rd. Reach base on a fielder's choice. But as we talked about early, just doesn't look her confident usual self. Dealing with the lingering effects of that wrist injury that she suffered in a midweek series against Tulsa on a tag up the first base line. And down in the count 0-2. And struck out looking on the outside corner. The 3rd strikeout of the night for Maddie Moss.
And that away pitch has been a pitch called all evening. That outside pitch, as it nips the corner, Maddie Moss is the beneficiary of another call by the home plate umpire. We have seen so many strikes called on that outside corner. Gibson not a fan of that call, not expecting that one to be rung up. It's that outside pitch that has left the lefties vulnerable tonight.
Here's Ashley Diaz with 2 outs. The power hitting righty, senior for this Razorback team. Knocked her 5th home run of the season out of the park last night.
That's the pitch that Diaz wanted. Knowing that she was ahead in the count, she could have put a big swing on that one. But Maddie Moss has developed that off-speed drop, so Diaz out a little bit ahead of it. So it's a good hold because she would have just rolled over it and given herself a weak ground ball.
One and 2 to Diaz. Talk about the energy yesterday that Moss brings. After many of her pitches, and especially the strikes, sort of pointing to her infield, getting everybody jazzed up and on their toes. Looking for another strikeout here. A little extra juice on that one, but missed outside.
Well, Maddie Moss is a fun pitcher to play defense behind. Not only does she hit her spots very consistently, but she also turns around and engages you as a defender. And a lot of times you'll see a pitcher very stoic in the circle, but that is not Maddie Moss. She is going to bring a lot of energy and a lot of excitement into the circle.
2-2. Strike 3 swinging, and back-to-back Ks for Maddie Moss. She has set down 6 straight for Tennessee. Tennessee still scoreless. Big reason why. Mary Half, she's been an absolute buzzsaw.
She has thrown 11 first pitch strikes. For all 16 batters she's faced, she's gone 2 strikes on all of them. She's got 10 Ks on the night. The first 6 batters she faced, she fanned 5 of them. Mary Half has found her niche in the circle and is able to rebound nicely in this game 2 for Arkansas against Tennessee.
Love that pop of the mitt. 10 strikeouts. Her 4th game this year with 10 or more strikeouts. We're only in the 5th inning.
It's amazing to know that Mary Half is able to rebound so nicely. She struggled in that Ole Miss series for Arkansas and now able to come back, rebound so well. That South Carolina series, they were able to come away with 2 games out of the 3. Now for Arkansas, they fell behind last night, lost the opener, but right now sitting on top, trying to even up this series and set them up nicely to come back to 500 in SEC play.
Taking on the freshman Gracie Osborne, who singled back in the 3rd inning. Her first at bat. Down in the count 0-2. You talked about how she's been so efficient, Mary Half, getting ahead in counts. That's something that this staff for Arkansas really emphasizes, pitching in the zone. And Courtney Deifel feels like whether it's Half or Autumn Storms, we like our chances when they're just pounding the zone. Flair over to the left side and in and out of the mid of Ali Manzo. Was it in fair territory? Yes. And so Osborne aboard safely at first base.
Another defensive miscue for Arkansas. This ball is a catchable ball, but Monzo calls it late. Because of that, her eyes are diverted to the third baseman, Malkin, who she's afraid she's going to run into because she takes her eye off the ball before it's secured in her glove. That gives Osborne a chance to get on base and get some more Skittles down there from India Childs. But that was a catchable ball. A miscue over on the left side, something that Arkansas has really struggled with. Malkin just her second start at third base, so because of that, Monzo not really comfortable out there at short. That relationship on the left side is so important because you see a lot of those balls go into the Bermuda Triangle, and you've got to be able to communicate and trust that everyone's working together and you know the range of each of your fielders. So Mary Half falling behind, getting a runner to start off this inning, and that's not what Arkansas needs in order to keep the lead.
And now Treasury Poindexter comes in as a pinch runner over at first. That was ruled a hit for Gracie Osborne, so she is 2 for 2 this evening. Nonetheless, a miscue for this Arkansas team, and whether it's ruled an error or not, certainly one that if Tennessee is able to take advantage, they will look back at as they did yesterday with the error in the fourth. Say that's a ball we should have had.
Definitely a catchable ball, but because it was not a routine play, it'll go down as a hit.
There's a snap throw down to second, and how about that throw from Kayla Green catching Poindexter?
Green behind the plate, showing why you don't want to run when she's behind the dish. That one beats the runner by a mile. It is a no-doubter. Beautiful throw, and able to come up with the stolen base out.
She is getting tough to get a stolen base against. Has thrown out 6 of 9, and now Half comes back with a strikeout. And just like that, 2 gone in the 5th.
And what a great response for Arkansas to be able to come away with that base stealer, get the out on that one, and then the very next pitch, get a swing and a miss. Half doing such a good job in the circle, staying composed. Even when the miscues could mess with her mental game, she is able to stay strong in the circle, and right now doing such a good job of keeping Arkansas in this game.
Back to the top of the order. Here's Aubrey Leach. Big play from Kayla Green behind home. UT was 2 for 2 in stolen base attempts yesterday. Amanda Ayala racking up a pair of stolen bases. But now the bases are empty and 2 down for Aubrey Leach. Tennessee just has not had as many opportunities today as they did yesterday with runners in scoring position, or on base for that matter, against Mary Half, who has been dealing.
A 2-0 pitch was my favorite pitch to swing at. Now, granted, I wasn't a slapper. I was a power hitter, but I used to swing out of my shoes on a 2-0 count, though Leach showing a little bit more discipline, but that one down in the zone, a good slapper's pitch.
2-1, catches the outside corner. Half battling back to level the count.
You can anticipate that pitch coming right back on that outside corner. It leaves a slapper vulnerable, though, because of the slapping rule about your feet being in the box. That outside pitch is very hard to reach as you step across with that left foot.
A dozen strikeouts for Mary Half, her 12th of the night, 2nd of the 5th, holding Tennessee scoreless. Arkansas still on top by 1. A relatively uneventful day at the plate, with the exception of Katie Warwick, the 5th straight game for this Arkansas team partner in which they've hit a home run.
And Katie Warwick came away with that big one. She had 2 strikeouts in the opening game yesterday. Today, another strikeout, but able to respond in her second at-bat off of Kaylin Arnold, who leaves the ball just way too big. She knew it was gone by the time she swung the bat. It was a no-doubter off of the video board, and that's the only run in this game so far.
That's a fun bunch to come into crossing home plate. Arkansas pumped up. You talked about how important this game is for this Razorbacks team. Had a series win against a top 20 team in the South Carolina Gamecocks last weekend. Trying to split the series with Tennessee here tonight.
And it was a great response. They dropped the opener to Ole Miss. They only were able to capture one game out of that series. We talked about the hiccups that Half had with the illegal pitches, and she was just not able to get herself mentally back into that. But a good response by Arkansas to come away with the series win against South Carolina last weekend, trying to even things up here tonight against Tennessee.
Arkansas 3-4 in SEC play. Picked 5th in the preseason poll, the highest in program history. And on the other side, Tennessee picked 3rd, coming off back-to-back super regional appearances in 2017 and 2018.
You talk about that SEC preseason poll. The first two in that, number 1 was Florida and number 2 was Georgia. How crazy this season has been. Florida now sitting 9 and Georgia coming in at 10 with their SEC standings. So a big shakeup for the SEC with the preseason poll. Not very accurate, but Tennessee, preseason poll 3, still sitting there.
Ranked 5th in the country as Moss misses wide. Florida dropping both of their opening SEC series off in SEC play this weekend, playing Mercer. They run ruled them earlier today. They'll play one more in a 2-game set tomorrow.
And that's maybe the breath that Florida's going to need, knowing that those 2 weekends to lead off the SEC season were tough.
Payoff pitch, line foul, and out of play. Florida has won 4 straight SEC regular season titles. Certainly have the target on their back in this conference.
That's expected, though. They know that everyone's going to be gunning for them and giving them their A game. So right now, just needing to respond. Right now, the top of the lineup, the only one really producing runs for them.
And a leadoff walk for Katie Warwick. Tough at bat. Saw 8 pitches. And the first runner aboard against Maddie Moss, who had set down 6 straight after coming in to relieve Kaylin Arnold back in the 4th. And now a pinch runner, Keely Edwards, comes in at first base.
Arnold still in the bullpen, trying to keep herself warm and ready in case Moss needs a little relief. Arnold did a good job, but that unable to get through the second time through the lineup against Arkansas. So she was lifted. Maddie Moss did a great job of responding, able to get out of the inning even though there had been a home run. And then Arnold put 2 free passes on.
Here is Ali Manzo. Scoring around a bunt and pops it foul. Kaylee Phillips over at third base. Ashley Morgan at first. Keely Edwards often utilized as a pinch runner this season for Courtney Deifel. A 1-0 lead for Arkansas in the top of the 6th. And another one in foul territory.
A sacrifice bunt, so necessary in this situation. Moss did not run the ball up in the zone, which is what you usually will see out of the hand of a pitcher, knowing that the batter is trying to sacrifice bunt, just running that ball away. And you've got to make sure you keep a strong top hand so the ball doesn't run back on you, and that's what happened to Monzo in those first 2 pitches.
0-2 from Moss. Monzo has walked and grounded out to first base tonight.
Even though Edwards is a pinch runner, do not expect to see her in motion, even though Tennessee has been unable to throw out a stolen base runner this year.
Monzo lifts this into right. Easy play for Bearden. 1 gone. And now Kayla Green Tennessee has really relied on its pitching throughout the course of this season. Really feeling like they have 3 solid starters that they can trot out at any given time. And then Maddie Moss, who has come out of the pen now in back-to-back games and done a fantastic job of shutting down the Razorbacks. This is a team that has held opponents to 2 runs or less 23 times this season in 29 games. And Arkansas has had runners aboard tonight, but Moss doing a really good job.
And she's done a great job of mixing her speeds. She's incorporated that off-speed drop into her arsenal, and that's what's really been very potent for her, able to keep the ball off the plate and use that off-speed drop to get hitters out in front.
Swing and a miss.
That's such a frustrating pitch. She's coming in about 5 miles an hour slower than her regular drop, and because of that, it has the same look. But unfortunately for the hitters of Arkansas, that ball continues to drop off the table a little bit prematurely. And so because of that, Maddie Moss has been very successful with that pitch in the circle.
Kayla Green goes down swinging, the 5th strikeout for Maddie Moss.
Each of those strikes in that at-bat, all down in the zone, but each of them a different speed. That's what causes this strikeout. Kayla Green unable to dig in. Maddie Moss excited, giving her defense a little look. That's what Maddie Moss has done to improve herself this year. Mixing speeds is so effective against big hitters.
Taylor Green, her first at-bat of the night, has come in to play third base for Lenny Malkin. There's a runner on and 2 outs. Arkansas trying to pad the lead a little bit against the Tennessee team that has been so balanced offensively throughout the year. Talk a lot about the pitching of this Volunteers staff, but boy, from top to bottom, plenty of capable hitters. And all it takes is one when you're down 1. 0-2 count on Taylor Green. Strike 3 called, and another inning with back-to-back Ks to end the inning. Tennessee still down 1. They come to the plate next.
Mary Haff for Arkansas doing such a great job in the circle, has faced 19 batters. 13 of them have had a first pitch strike. Right now, dealing in the circle, keeping Arkansas in this one. They are up 1-0 and doing such a great job of keeping Arkansas potent. She's been running the ball off the edge of the plate, and that's what's been getting that strike call that Tennessee has been unable to respond to. So dominant in the circle, a great outing for Mary Haff. Tennessee needing to adjust quickly to be able to put themselves on the board and keep themselves in this one.
Keely Edwards has come in for Katie Warwick in right field. Taylor Green is over at third for Lenny Malkin. There is Keely Edwards. She came in to pinch run last inning. Here's a ball punched into left for Jenny Holcomb. Pinch hitter for Amanda Ayala, and she gets aboard.
Holcomb, one of those hitters that was not in the starting lineup, did play yesterday. Went 1 for 3, but now getting Tennessee to start things off very well. Skittles for the base hit, and that puts her in a great position to be able to get Segern to punch her around.
There is Chelsea Segern. First pitch swinging, fly ball into center, making a diving play, Hannah McEwen.
Well, Holcomb played this well. She got off the bag, but a great defensive catch by McEwen, able to take it to the figure 4 slide, come away with that one. That's a great look, keeping her eyes steady, making sure she secured the out. A great job out in center by a defensive center fielder, Hannah McEwen.
Robbing Chelsea Segern of some Skittles up the first base line. So 1 away here in the 6th. Runner at first. In steps Kaylee Phillips. Phillips is a player who can change the game with one swing of the bat. 9 homers this year. Singled back in the 4th, was stranded at third base. Then a big cut, making it 1-1.
When we heard from Karen Weekly in her in-game interview that she wanted her hitters to be more aggressive early in the at-bats, and it looks like Tennessee is finally hearing that. They're recognizing that the pitches in the beginning of the count are going to be a lot better. As Half is able to play with you, they're off the dish.
Pop up behind home, and Green watches that sail into the seats. Half ahead in the count again. Holcomb over at first base. She represents the tying run.
Phillips could have put a great swing in her last at bat on the ball, drove the ball to left field. It was a line drive that was able to find some grass. And right now, needing to do that again, string base hits together. There is not a big deficit for Tennessee to have to overcome. So right now, just needing to string together base hits. Phillips, just a freshman, but right now leads the team in home runs. Does not need to try to put a charge in one. And I love that talk by Ralph Weekly, just talking to his freshman, calming her down. Sometimes your heart rate gets elevated in these big pressure situations. Ralph Weekly, recognizing an opportunity to get Tennessee on the board, comes in, tries to calm down his freshman and put her back in the box to be successful.
Freshman from Atua, Tennessee. Down in the count 1-2. Strike 3, swinging the 13th K of the night for Mary Half, and that ties a career high.
I tell you what, Mary Half tonight is so hard to hit. She's been running the pitches away from hitters, but this one just has a little jump up through the zone. That one, it was a good pitch. That was a good swing. That's a good pitch to swing at, but just underneath it, trying to elevate it.
Now Haley Bearden, pop fly to center. McEwen gathers, and that ends the inning. So a leadoff single is curtailed. Half sets down the side and still leading 1-0. Mary Half has been solid for Arkansas, but Maddie Moss has come in relief and done a nice job as well.
It's that off-speed drop that's new to her this year that has been so hard for these hitters to adjust to. She's kept the ball down in the zone, has not elevated, and has continued to use the corners, which has made her so dominant, able to come away with 6 strikeouts in this relief appearance.
Back-to-back innings with back-to-back strikeouts to close those innings. Buckling down against an Arkansas team that leads by 1 run. And a smile flashed by Maddie Moss. So energetic. Upperclassman, veteran leader for the Volunteers. Takes on Nicole Duncan here.
And when a hitter is able to foul a ball straight back, it means that she's timed up the pitcher. So expect to see Maddie Moss make that recognition, take a little something off the ball as she keeps the ball down in the zone using that off-speed drop. But a hitter, when she's able to foul it straight back, I tell you what, that would build my confidence so much, knowing that I could square up the pitcher. So look for some disruption of timing to help Maddie Moss in the circle.
0-1 pop foul. The one thing you'll notice when you watch Maddie Moss pitch is her enthusiasm. And she had a funny quote about that. She said, at some point, you reach a point in your pitching career that you just lose it a bit up top because the pressure and the stress of pitching at this level is so high. And so she just decided, you know what, I'm going to wear a smile on my face and sort of pump up everybody else by being energetic.
So she's fooling us? She's really telling us that the pressure is getting to her? Is that what you're saying?
I think she's fooling herself.
Well, the game in the circle is a real mental battle to be able to continue to stay strong, facing SEC hitting week in and week out. But Maddie Moss puts a smile on her face and stays very successful in the circle.
1-2. Strikeout of Nicole Duncan. And that is the 7th K of the night for Maddie Moss.
Well, and the pop of the glove on a big strikeout like that was one of the things we talked about in the 7 Innings podcast 2 weeks ago. So if you're looking to find a way to learn more about the game, figure out the heartbeat of what's going on around the nation in the world of softball, that 7 Innings podcast, one of the best ways to stay up to date on what's going on around the nation.
I second that as a weekly listener of the 7 Innings podcast. Solid content.
Our producer tonight, Jimmy Softball, on this game with us, doing a great job of giving you the look at home, but also helping us out with a lot of great replays as well.
I loved the conversation about slappers in the most recent 7 Innings podcast, and Sydney Parr, a great example of the slapper still being utilized in the game of softball, although we're not seeing it as much at the top of the order. Parr batting in the 9 spot tonight. Ahead in the count 2-0.
And I'm going to say that the batter's box rule change in 2018 was really the biggest blow to the slap game, because they cannot reach that outside pitch as they step across. Because of it, that leaves them vulnerable to the outside. Defenses have gotten better. That was one of the things we talked about on the podcast, but it's a part of the game that really needs to be focused on and used at the younger levels so that they can continue to use it as they get to college. And you see colleges making their fields hard in front of the of the plate if they have a lot of slappers. Georgia took advantage of that in their game today. But here at Tennessee, they do not roll it as much as they used to because they don't have as many slappers.
3-1 catches the inside corner, and Moss battling back to run the count full. You talk about the new rule. Parr fell victim to that rule yesterday, stepping on the line, and was called out. And so we even see it in this series, sort of that rule coming into effect and influencing the game. Payoff pitch.
And there it is. You called it, Matt. Out, and because of that contact and stepping out of the zone, it was clear. She had stepped over the plane of the plate, that left foot on the crossover, out of the box when she makes contact with the ball. Check out that left foot. It is outside of the box, over the plane of the plate. So regardless of the result of the swing, if she makes contact with the ball, fair or foul, if she is out of the box at contact, she goes down with that dead ball out. That'll be her 2nd time in this series.
And now 2 away. We go back to the top of the order for Hannah McEwen. 1 for 2 today. Singled back in the 3rd. And had a hard line out to left field her last time up. The 0-1.
This will be Hannah McEwen's 2nd time seeing Maddie Moss in the circle, able to go the other way with it on that pitch that Moss kept on the outside part of the plate.
Strikeouts for Maddie Moss, and she gets out of the inning. Tennessee with work to do. 3 outs remain for the Volunteers. A lot of zeros on that scoreboard, partner. Great pitching in this game. Maddie Moss with 8 strikeouts in relief. Mary Half, who will try to go for the complete game, tying a career high with 13 strikeouts tonight.
Mary Half needs 3 outs, and she's out of this one with a win. It would even them up in the series, bring them up to 500 in SEC play. So right now, just 3 outs away. Mary Half able to find her footing. She stumbled in that Ole Miss series, able to find it in this one, and doing a great job in the circle, matching her high strikeout high.
Rally caps are out for the Volunteers. They've managed 6 hits against Half, but still scoreless 6 innings through. Ashley Morgan leads it off for the Volunteers. 6, 7, and 8 the due-ups for Tennessee this inning. Morgan has struck out twice tonight against Half.
This bottom of the lineup for Tennessee has not been very productive. 6, 7, 8, and 9 only have 2 hits, both of them coming from Gracie Osborne. So right now, Morgan and Hannon, who's sitting on deck, need to find a way to get on.
Here's a line drive into center. And that's the way to start the 7th, down 1. Morgan aboard for the first time tonight.
And this pitch just stays too much over the wide of the plate. That is something that Mary Half has done a great job of doing all night long, is keeping the ball in the corners. But this one just a little bit too big. And Morgan, not trying to do too much with it, drives it right back up the middle. That's a hit that you need to use every time up to bat. But for Tennessee, it's a great start to the bottom half of the 7th, where they find themselves down by a run.
Caitlin Parsons comes in to pinch run over at first base. First time we've seen her in the series. A freshman from Long Beach, California. Played at Los Alamitos High School with Jenna Holcomb. They overlapped there briefly before coming to Tennessee. Kaylin Hannon fouling back the first pitch.
We've talked about injuries for Tennessee. Parsons was one of those players that had an ACL tear during her senior year of high school. So she's now healthy and able to run for Tennessee. But I would not expect to see her in motion. I don't expect to see any stolen bases out of Parsons.
Bunt drop down. Only play is at first. And Taylor Green executes over at third base. But the runner advances. And now the tying run at second base for Tennessee.
Usually a team that can sacrifice is the team that can win. Trying to take advantage of a left side defense for Arkansas that's had some miscues, but handled very well by Green, who's been inserted into the lineup through this game. Did not start, but was able to find her way into the lineup because of the bat that she was able to swing yesterday in the game 1.
Tennessee in the series 3 for 16 with runners in scoring position. To this point, they've only had 3 opportunities to bat with runners in scoring position today against Mary Half, who has struck out 13. Here is Gracie Osborne. And Osborne has gotten on base twice tonight. A pair of singles, was caught stealing back in the 5th.
Osborne swinging out of her shoes on that one. Yesterday's hit that she had in game 1 was her first hit in 4 games. So she's found her rhythm in this series. Mary Half has given her the opportunity to come away with 2 hits in this one. She got it off of a changeup in her first at-bat, but right now coming hard at Osborne in this at-bat.
Hot line drive down the left field line, out of play.
Luckily our cameraman able to get out of the way of that one. Good reflexes down the line kept him safe.
Autumn Storms getting loose in the bullpen for Arkansas. A 1-2 strikeout and a new career high for Mary Half. She has 14 Ks.
That may have been the biggest strikeout of the night, with Tennessee threatening right now. That was a big pitch to be able to take up in the zone. You've got to make sure that you spin that one tight so that it rises up over the bat. Osborne with a big, huge swing, couldn't catch up. It's a big strikeout. Not only is it a career high, but a big one for her tonight in this game.
2 outs, tying run at second base. Madison Piscini comes in to pinch hit for Tiana Batts. First time that we've seen Piscini in the series. She's 2 for 8 this season as a pinch hitter. takes a pitch inside.
You know, coming off the bench, she sat and watched this entire game, recognizing the way that Half has been throwing to all of these batters, but it is so hard to come off the bat cold in this tough situation, knowing that the game is on the line. She's got 2 outs. Right now, Piscini needing to just settle in, calm down, and take this one right back up the middle, not trying to do too much with it. Tennessee just needs to score 1 to even it up. But it is a tough situation for Piscini to be able to step in and be successful against Mary Half, who she has not seen at all tonight.
Piscini, another freshman out of San Diego, California. Takes a 1-0 strike.
And that's the pitch that Piscini needed to hit. Now Mary Half will deal around the corners, give her some off-speed stuff, keep this ball away. Mary Half going to go right at her, but make sure that she doesn't give up that pitch again.
And now Tennessee down to its final strike. Piscini has driven in 4 runs this season, has homered once. Just her 27th at bat of the year. Tying run at second base, 2 down. Arkansas trying to level the series at 1 apiece. And a 1-2 strikeout, fitting for Mary Half. A career-high 15 Ks in a Game 2 winner for the Razorbacks.
Mary Half is the difference in this game, with only 1 run scored off of a home run off of the bat of Warwick. Mary Half going up in the zone. We have not seen her there very often tonight, but taking